There's an old saying about England and America, and it's two nations separated by one language. And I think that's true in a lot of ways. Obviously, they speak English in England. It originated there. But there are a lot of subtleties and differences that make it interesting and really fun. When you think about all the different accents in America, there are a few big differences, maybe in the South or in the Northeast and then over in the West. But just imagine all of those differences maybe escalated a little bit and then shrunk into one tiny area called England. And that's how it is. If you go up to Manchester, where the MTC is close to, you're going to get a different accent than Liverpool or over in York, which are all the places in the north. And then you come down south, you go to Cornwall, you have a different accent from London, different accent from Essex, and it's just very different accents all across the board, which is fun because you'll start talking to someone. I had a companion from Hong Kong who was like, "Elder, I don't know what he's saying," and I had to explain, translate a little bit. But the accents are very different, and some of the words they use are very different as well. Just a few examples. The first few that I heard were like rubbish, trash, and waste aren't super common. It's the rubbish bin, and you throw your rubbish in the bin. Or on cars, instead of the hood and the trunk, there's the boot, which is the trunk, and the bonnet, which is the hood. A few things like that. One of the ones that I've kept up is cheers. We say cheers for thank you, and then the way that you respond to cheers is you just say, "You're all right," like just don't worry about it. But "you're all right" can also be a greeting, and that was the one that kind of threw me for a loop. We'd meet people on the street and they're like, "You're all right." You're just like, "Yeah, I'm okay. Is everything okay?" But I got the hang of it, and eventually I'd just say, "You're all right," and they'd respond, "You're all right," and then that's communication in England, and that was fun to get used to. I still say it to people, and they're like, "Yeah, sure," and it's just fun to think about. You call it, maybe it's not the most missionary-esque thing, but everyone calls each other mates instead of "Hey man" or "Sup dude." It's "Hey mate" or "You're right, bruv." That's a common one for us to hear, especially in Essex. And in Essex, they have a very laid-back accent. Things are very chill and very. The accents are very different from a proper London accent that you would think about. But there are a lot of those things. One of the problems I had when I came home, it's not really a problem, just one of the tendencies I had was to ask questions like you do in England. And I can't even think of how we say it in America. If we were to ask a question, we'd be like, "How are you doing?" But in England, it kind of goes up and over, like, "You doing all right?" And like, "Can I go to the store?" And I came back and said that to my mom, and she thought it was so weird. And I used the word toilet because that's, at least in London, that's a very common word. Up in the north, they use more of loo, or the WC, the water closet. But I would ask my mom, "Can I go to the toilet?" And she's like, "Ew, Richard, no. First of all, don't use toilet. And second of all, don't ask it like that." I was like, "Sorry." But that was just something I had to get used to, that Americans were very different. The R's are softer, the T's are more pronounced. I came back speaking differently. I feel like I'm speaking differently now thinking about it. But yeah, everything's just a little bit different. Hopefully you'll be able, the missionaries will be able to understand right when they get there, but it can take some time. So you want me to impersonate an accent? Well, there's a couple different accents that were very common in my mission. And I guess I'll just say something like, "How's it going? Are you going to go to the store later?" I'll say something like that, and try to be a London accent. Again, I'm not the best at accents, but someone in London might say, "You doing all right? Are you going to pop around the shop later?" And then someone in Essex might say, "You all right, bruv? You going to pop around the shop later, mate?" And that's just kind of to the extremes that you might see in the London area. "I'm going to the store later, mate. My laddie. I'm going around to the store later." That's Scottish, kind of. My Scottish friends are going to hate me for that, but we'll see.